Hey guys, Lee here from Vape Reviews. Just a very quick video to go along with the JACVapour PicNIC DIY e-liquid set that I reviewed in the last video. As I said in that video, I wanted to go through the flavours that I was sent and just give some impressions on them. I've mixed up, with the kit that I was sent, I've mixed up about 10, 11 bottles of liquid now, I think. I've mixed up each of the liquids individually so that I can get an idea of their flavour. And also done a couple of basic mixes as well. So we'll just go through those quite quickly. First up, let's go with the two special edition flavours that are out at the moment. Okay, Kalahari Ice. So this is supposed to be bubblegum, melon and menthol, I think. I'm not sure if there's anything else in it. That's the kind of description that you get from the site. And when you smell it, definitely get a bit of bubblegum. Definitely get a very strong smell of watermelon. Menthol, not really, you can't really smell it in it, but when it actually comes to tasting the liquid, the watermelon is probably the most dominant. The bubblegum, again, just like in the smell of the liquid, it's there, but it doesn't kind of kick out. The watermelon is the strongest thing there. The menthol, there is a kind of, it's kind of detectable, but it's quite faint. I personally would like a bit more menthol in it. Just so you've got that watermelon flavour and then the cooling menthol. It doesn't really add a lot of cooling to it. I should also point out I've tried all of these liquids on an RDTA, an Aromomizer Supreme, and also on a dripper, a velocity dripper. So they've gone through a tank and a dripper system, although the Aromomizer is kind of a tank dripper, but whatever. But yeah, I've got a good idea of what they taste like now, mostly around 35 to 45 watts, 0.3 to 0.5 ohm dual coil, mixture of twisted coils, of Canthol. So they've gone through their paces, but anyway, the Kalahari Ice, yeah, nice flavour, nice watermelon flavour if you like watermelon, but could perhaps do with just a bit more menthol in the mix, just to give it a bit more of a kick. Then we come to the next special flavour, which is the fluffy nut. Now when you smell this one, it smells like marshmallows and caramel. That's kind of the smell you get. It's a very kind of caramel tone to it, but it's mostly marshmallow. This one to me is perhaps of the flavours I've had one of the more disappointing ones, just because although it's not unpleasant, it's described on the site as being peanut butter and marshmallow, and for me, you kind of get the marshmallow, you definitely get it with the smell. The flavour's a bit less pronounced. You do get a bit of that caramel flavour. In a dripper, it certainly has a lot more power, a lot more flavour. I found when I used it in a tank, I wasn't really getting much flavour from it. It was a slight kind of creamy flavour, perhaps, a little bit of a caramel flavour, but in terms, I was getting no peanut butter really at all. And I mean, I've vaped so much peanut butter liquid, most of it DIY that I've made myself, so I've got a good idea for what peanut butter, concentrates taste like. And to me, it's just, if it's there, it's extremely muted in a tank. And even the other flavours, like the marshmallow, are quite muted, so it doesn't have a lot of flavour for me. In a dripper, it has a much stronger flavour. Again, the marshmallow and caramel are kind of there more. There's maybe a slight kind of nut flavour to it, but I don't think you could really pick it up as being peanut butter. If you've tried other peanut butter kind of liquids and concentrates, then definitely it doesn't kind of hit that level. So I think that's got the potential to be a really nice liquid. I don't know what it is with the mix, but it just needs a bit more punch and a bit more peanut butter for me personally. Next up, we have got Real Cherry. This one is obviously one of the real liquids, the real UK liquid range from JACVapour. You can see just looking at it just how red it is. But this one is very, I mean, when you smell this liquid, it smells like really strong kind of cherryade, cherry drops, that kind of slightly sugary cherry smell. It is a very nice liquid. It's a very strong liquid, so you might perhaps, unless you want it really strong, you might want to lower it a bit, maybe even use 1 milliliter of it, or even 1.5. Using 2 milliliters, as JACVapour recommend, of flavouring together with 8 milliliters of base, you might find a bit strong with this one. It's a very nice flavour, very fruity, kind of perhaps more like cherry sweets or cherryade than it is actual pure cherries, but it is a very nice, very fruity flavour, and if you're looking for that kind of cherry flavour, then it does the job perfectly. Next up we have lemon. Now I got sent 2 bottles of this, I don't know if that was by mistake, but basically, let's start by smelling it. I think I may have just opened the bottle that I hadn't opened. Oh dear. Now what interests me with this is it definitely smells of lemon, but it also to me smells of ginger. It literally, it smells to me like, you know, if you get like a honey and lemon, or a lemon and ginger tea, or lemon and ginger like a Beecham's or Lemsip, that kind of thing. It has that smell to me, and actually when you come to vape it, it's very much the same. I actually get a much stronger taste of ginger, and I don't know, maybe there's no ginger at all in it, maybe it's just me, but for whatever reason it has a very strong flavour to it that I pick up as being ginger, and it's a pleasant enough flavour to have in a dripper. It comes through quite clearly, the lemon, and it's quite refreshing. But I found in a tank I was only really getting that ginger, and it can be a bit harsh on your throat. So for me personally, a pure lemon mix isn't something I'm massively fond of. In a dripper it does its job alright, but it's not something I go crazy for. But yeah, just be aware, again, maybe it's just me, but just be aware that for me there is definitely a strong kind of gingery flavour lurking in there as well. That's the other lemon one I think there. And oh no, that's it. So next we have coconut. Now, if you've seen past juice reviews that I've done, you'll know that coconut is a massive bugbear of mine, because the thing with coconut is, I mean, when you take the cap off, you smell it. Well, this one not so much, but when you smell most coconut liquids, it smells like a Bounty or coconut milk. It's got that lovely kind of creamy smell to it, you know, that you expect from coconut. But when you actually come to vape it, it always seems to have a very chemical flavour to it. I don't know what it is, but literally, I mean, I've had coconut flavours from the cheapest of liquids to the most expensive liquids, from the most unknown brand to the most well-known, and I've had coconut liquids from so many different places, and it always just tastes very synthetic, very chemical. Even with DIY mixing, I mean, I've got some coconut candy concentrate, and whenever I mix that, even with a bit of chocolate, it always comes out tasting very chemical. So I'm starting to think, and again, some people might like it, but for me personally, I'm starting to think maybe coconut is a flavour that just does not sit with e-liquids, because I've not had one yet that doesn't have that taste, and it's unfortunate, it's the same for this one. Mixing it with other flavours, like fruit flavours, tones it down a bit, but I mean, I've tried mixing the coconut with pineapple, and actually the coconut really dominates it, but that chemical taste does, so you kind of end up knocking out the other flavour because of the coconut is quite strong. So if you've had coconut liquids before and you've liked them, then chances are you will like this. But for me personally, coconut is something I just have not found a good one of yet. So it's not a reflection on JACVapour's coconut liquid, it's pretty much across the board for me. Next we have real mango. Now this was the first liquid I tried because I'd never had a mango e-liquid and I was interested to try it. And actually it's quite astounding, because when you smell it, it smells like a mango. That might sound a little bit stupid to say, but it doesn't smell synthetic, it doesn't smell like candy, it just smells like a mango, like mango juice. And actually when you vape this, it tastes like mango, like proper full fruity mango. And what really impressed me with this one is that after you've finished vaping it, for quite a while afterwards, you have the taste still in your mouth, like the aftertaste, as if you've just eaten a mango, that kind of fruity taste. So what I would say with this is, if you like mango, you will love this liquid, because it is, to me, a perfect embodiment of what mango tastes like. And that's all you can ask for, really, and that's what you want from the real liquids that JACVapour do. It's what they're known for. And for this one, it is spot on. So if you like mango, go for it. What I would say is, it is a very strong liquid. Now, I've tried mixing this with, I actually have a mix that I made up. I think I have it here, actually, in one of the premix bottles. Okay, here it is. The label has come off a bit, but this is a mixture of 8 millilitres of base liquid. I think it's the 70% VG one. And the concentrates in it, there is, I think, half a milliliter of cherry, because cherry is quite strong as well, half a milliliter of mango, because that's strong, and then a milliliter of pineapple. And actually, in this mix, it's starting, now that I've had this mix kind of almost steeping for a few days. It's starting to tone out a bit, mellow out. But at first, all I could taste was mango. Now that's surprising to me because the cherry flavour is pretty strong. So I expected, with the colouring as well, being so red, I thought perhaps it would taste more of cherry, but actually no, the mango is really, really quite dominant. So what I would say is, if you plan to use it as a single flavour mix, then it's perfect. If you're going to mix it with other flavours, use it very sparingly, perhaps even less than half a milliliter, because it is very strong, and it will kick through a lot of mixes. And that brings us then to our final flavour, which is real pineapple. Now I love pineapple. Pineapple, I would say, is my favourite fruit. So when you open it up and you smell it, it smells perfectly of pineapple. I mean, literally, it smells like you've just put your nose to a pineapple. Again, that is a real pineapple, so it's part of the real range, like the mango. And when you smell it, it's just pineapple. Absolutely, fruit. It's not pineapple cubes or anything like that. It's pineapple, the fruit. For me, I found this one difficult, though, and a bit disappointing, because it's actually very mellow when you vape it, even in a dripper. I have a bottle of pure pineapple liquid that I made up with 2 milliliters of pineapple concentrate in it, and actually it's not that pronounced, the flavour. It's nowhere near as strong as it smells. It's also the one that I've mixed the most, but it doesn't really mix very well because I've put it with coconut, and the coconut overpowered it. I put some in with the cherry and the mango, like I just said for the mango one, and it had more pineapple concentrate than it did cherry or mango, and yet the pineapple you can't taste really at all. So it is a difficult one with some of the flavours I've got to mix. That being said, I'm sure there are some liquids in the range that would mix perfectly with it, but just be aware it's quite a tame liquid. So what I would recommend, if I were making up another bottle, I would actually probably put maybe even 7 milliliters of base and 3 milliliters of pineapple, so I'd up the amount I was using. But just be aware it's not as strong when you vape it as it is when you smell it. But anyway, yeah, so that was just a kind of whistle-stop tour of the liquids that I was sent. Obviously, there are 33 liquids out there. Hopefully, I'll have some more to review for you soon. But yeah, hopefully you found some of that useful, and if you are thinking of picking up the DIY kit, or even if you DIY yourself with your own liquids and you're interested in the concentrates, then that's just a range of some particularly good ones as well that you could pick up. And just for me, with the two mixes, the first two we looked at, the Kalahari Ice I think needs a bit more menthol, the Fluffy Nut needs a bit more peanut butter, and I think if that were to happen, they would be really, really great mixes. As it stands, they're not unpleasant by any stretch of the imagination, but they just need a bit more to bring them out and to give them a bit more punch. But yeah, so that's it. Hopefully you found that useful. Thanks for watching. Be sure to pick up a PicNIC kit from JACVapour and choose from the flavours. Leave a comment to let me know what flavours you've tried and what you think of them. And yeah, see you next time for another video. For now, happy vaping.